five of the best with Leee John. Now, Leee John had massive success with Imagination in the early 1980s, but he's continued his very illustrious career, covered lots of music genres, and you'll find that these songs are songs that have influenced him throughout his life. Okay, one is his own, but the other four are from some of the greatest soul singers that have ever lived and ever played music. Now, just a little time to tell you, please subscribe. It helps me, and of course, it allows you to find out when I've posted something new on the channel. And one more thing, if you want to give me thanks in form of a little bit of money for a coffee or whatever, you can do that. That will help me continue with this podcast. Okay, stand by. Here is Leee John with five of the best. Leee John, welcome. Five of your best. I mean, honestly, these five tracks, wow, it just blew my mind. I mean, I love soul music in any case. So for me to listen to those and then talk to you about them, and also instantly recognizing the connection that you clearly have through your vocals and through the music you've made. So let's start with number one on your list, which was Girl, You Need a Change of Mind by Eddie Kendricks. Now, of course, Eddie Kendricks was famously the co-founder of the Temptations, but do you remember when you first heard him?
I heard Eddie Kendricks in 1972. I was still in school, and behind me, I've got all my vinyl. So if I look back there, I can probably find the vinyl for you of My People Hold On, which was one of the first albums that I bought. I bought that album, and it was a very, very radical time of change. And I bought that album, and I searched everywhere to get the Lady Sings the Blues double album, because I went to see Diana Ross and Lady Sings the Blues. I had no idea she was in the Supremes. I had no idea. I just heard so much about Lady Sings the Blues, and I couldn't find it. I ended up getting, it hadn't come out yet, and I got Lady in Satin. So it introduced me to all these jazz greats. But anyway, I digress. With Eddie, I also didn't realize he was in the Temptations. And then it's like I went back in time and studied all the stuff he did with the Temptations. And subsequently, I have every single album he's done. Maybe one in his latter years I haven't got, but I've got everything. And he had a very jazzy sort of phrasing, and he had a falsetto, but it was not the same as the Stylistics or the Shy Lights. It was not. It had yes, a different jazzy, sometimes gospely feel. He would sing. He'd take a breath, and then he would enunciate or do something. He wasn't the same like the others were, kind of more on beat. He would have that, which I kind of emulated some of that, because I do the same thing.
Did you actually study then the way that he sang?
Oh, totally. I mean, but first, before I did that, I studied a lot of backgrounds, choruses. I studied, I mean, because I when I came back from the US, prior to that, I was in glee clubs and choirs and things like that. So harmony was always my strong point. I thought anyone could sing lead, but harmony was the main crux of music, because when you're playing chords, when you're strings and horns and stuff. So that was one of the things. And when I used to listen to Eddie in particular, I used to hear things that he did that emulated an instrument. And then many other singers as well. Marvin, he would do, his harmonies were like chords, or like they were like like you can hear him singing the chords to "Dance with me, come on, dance, pretty baby," and he'll have it in a harmony, and that could either be a keyboard or it could be a brass. So it's the clever way things were arranged back then.
One of the tracks that he was on, totally famous track, of course, is "Just My Imagination." Is there a connection?
Not really. A lot of people, I've sang it in the show, and I actually did a recording of it. I've recorded it. I don't know if I put it online yet, but it's there for prosperity. But I had to do it because everybody had, anything that's got imagine or imagination, there's always that connection. But there were so many songs he did. I loved sorry, I'm a little bit throaty. I loved what was the one I liked them? Going Up in Smoke, We Ain't Got No Hope. And with the Temptations, there was You're My Everything, You're My Everything. Yes, you are. You're my everything. That's it. That's it. I was just trying to get to know which part I was going to sing. But yeah, and oh gosh, and I love Psychedelic Shack, Ball of Confusion. And on his first solo album, this used to be the home of Johnny May. Let's Go Back to Day One. And of course, Boogie Down and Keep on Trucking.
Oh, wow. Well, let's come to your number two, which is a track that I remember so well from the 70s. One of the great soul voices ever, Deniece Williams with Free. Now, why did you choose that track?
Well, the thing about it is, everyone always says to me, pick your 6 best tracks. And I've got a jukebox of favorite tracks. So for me, I was thinking of Happy Memories. I was thinking of, I was a junior journalist working for Caribbean Times, West Indian World. I was still at school. I was trying hard to become a pop star or a soul star, whatever. And with my friend Russell, we were like a duo. We'd go around everywhere together. And we used to do part-time journalism, you know, for the Caribbean Times and interview artists. And we would get all these invitations. And it was the summer period. And we got an invitation to see Deniece Williams. And I can't remember where I think she was at the Rainbow. I think it was at the Rainbow or something like that. And what was so strikingly interesting to me was I'd seen her maybe a year or so before, and she was a backing singer with Stevie Wonder with Wonder Love. And that was one of the first concerts I ever went to. And I was so enamored with Stevie Wonder and thinking, my goodness, she's blinded. But wow, you know, what was coming out of it? And the backing singers were so crazy. And in the audience were all these artists, Eric Clapton, Linda McCartney, and Paul McCartney. I met Doris Troy and Madeleine Bell. And, you know, then we got to see Deniece, you know, we snuck backstage. We got to see Stevie Wonder's manager. So when her album came out, which was produced by Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire, we grabbed it. And the whole album is just such a classic journey of soul music of that period in time. And it was just so original. In actual fact, it reminded me a little bit of Minnie Riperton, who I think was out at around the same time, with that high voice sort of thing, and Suzanne Green as well, who also sang with Ray Charles and also with Stevie too. It just had this, even now when you hear, I think it's the Fender Rhodes at the very beginning, you kind of like, it takes you on a journey.
Yeah, it's so effortless, and it has these vocal gymnastics that you just don't hear anybody else. Oh, you mentioned Minnie Riperton, of course, but you don't really hear anybody else singing in that style. It's just amazing.
There's one person who does, but she does it, but unfortunately, she does it, but it's not effortlessly. She does it, but it's like she's performing it, and that's Chanté Moore. She's got a very good voice, but every time I see her do it, it's not effortless. It's like I'm coming for that note, and you know, it's so special. It's like Minnie was the same way. They just did it effortlessly. It's like beautiful.
Well, you mentioned Stevie Wonder, and we're coming to Visions from Stevie Wonder, which is from one of the greatest albums ever made, Inner Visions. And I think this is about 50 years old, 73.
Yeah,
it must be.
Yeah.
Yes. So
he came in 74 to the UK. I think 74, 75, around that time. That's when I was at school, and that's when I went to see him perform. And it inspired me so much. I love all the show business, the razzmatazz and all that, but the musicality for me is always equally just as important. And that was something that I felt you needed to have, that grounding before you can go and be razzle dazzle them. You need to really know the structure of how music is, and for your truth to come out really strongly. And Stevie did that, and with the vocals, with the musicians, and has been an inspiration to all of us, I would say. I mean, there's not one Stevie Wonder song that isn't played every day that you hear. So now in commercials now, you know, and even I'm a patron for SOS Children, which is a global charity for orphans around the world. And not too long ago, myself and Mike Lindup, we did a duet version of Visions. which you can see the video online on YouTube, and the money was going to the charity.
I mean, this track is so far ahead of its time, and also the theme in the song.
It's so now. It's really is now. I mean, it's amazing that, you know, when you think of how it was back in the day and how it is now, you're thinking, have we changed? Have we moved on? Is this a vision in my mind? You know, where's that milk and honey land? You know, we need to reflect and look more on when you listen to these songs, because you think, you know, we've not moved as far. We may with technology and AI, we've probably gone forward in those levels, but as people, as our as my new album says, intimate glow, you know, there's a lot of that needs to really come through more.
I like a word that you used just a moment ago, or for the last track, but it's about it transcending with its musicality, and this transcends as well. So we come to a track from you, Take Me Back, Leee John and Bill Sharpe. Now, Bill Sharpe was in Shakatak, so I presume you met him a long time ago.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. In the early 80s, our management and their management were next door to each other. The promoters, Louis Parker, who promoted them and promoted us, they were there together. So it'd be in and out, you know. I remember I hosted the Disco Dancing Championships on Channel 4, which was a lot of fun. And of course, Louis had all his artists on that same show that I was on, because he put me up to doing it, which was a lot of fun. And Bill and I, we decided maybe 15, 18 years ago to do some stuff together. We've been, you know, and I like working with loads of different people. So we did 2 tracks together, I'm Your Angel and the Fool in Love. And one of them ended up on the Blue Savannah album, a Shakatak album. And the other one just went nowhere. So during the lockdown, we decided, you know, let's go back to the old days and think 3 weeks in doing an album. If we can't do it in 3 weeks, then forget it. We'll never do it. So we did, you know, and I had to get back on the recording desk and learn to, I phoned my engineer up because we had to stay inside, and we were Zooming and whatever. And I'm saying, I can't remember, how do you get that sound? How do you do this? And the funny thing is with my engineer, I taught him how to use the desk, you know, and the effects and stuff. And because I've been so lazy, he comes over and does everything. I just want to do what I need to do, and he'll take care of it. So I had to go back to learning it all. So I do all these stacks of vocals and harmonies. And one of the main tracks, which has got Mark King from Level 42 playing bass, and also Frizzy from Mezzo Forte playing guitar, is Take Me Back. So, you know, it's for me, I'm really happy there's been such a great response organically to the Intimate Glow album, which is out now. It's just been a lot of DJs just playing different tracks. They're playing Double Dilemma, Blue Mood, Tomorrow, So Cool, So Easy, The Heat Is On. I've just literally turned on the radio and I'm hearing one of the tracks from the album, which is phenomenal. I'm like, wow, yeah. And it's caught me off guard because I'm preparing for a tour. So my head is tour. And then I'm promoting the album and other things. And Bill and I are doing stuff together. And in actual fact, he is down at the Pizza Express on March the 22nd, in week after next, with Don Grushin. Don Grushin is there, and it's going to be like a keyboard sort of concert, and I may pop up and do maybe a little something. We'll see. But I've met Don a few times. We've had some jam sessions together. But what's great now, especially for me, is that there are no ceilings. I just do what I feel. You know, I'm touring, doing an Imagination show. When I say Imagination show, the best of a flashback tour, but it also gives me the opportunity to expand and to educate and show where I am as an individual musician performer now.
I mean, it's a very smooth track. Do you think your voice has improved over the years? Because there does seem to be another quality to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you never really heard me. I think that everybody heard about my falsetto, but they didn't realize to do the work that I did, you know, to the harmonies in flashback and Could It Be That Illusion and Musicalized, I'm using all my range. People wouldn't know it. But in actual fact, on some of the songs, the lower registers, I would demo the low parts for Ashley, and then he'd come in and sing them, you know, on that, because I was a writer of all the songs, so along with Steve and what have you. So it was a situation where when I did my jazz album, Feel My Soul, I just wanted to let go. And I know I had different areas of my vocal tones that people hadn't heard. They'd hear it live, but they would sometimes say, oh, I like that tone. You've got a different tone here. And I think, oh, oh my goodness.
That's the
So
tone. Now don't go away while Lee opens his door to the courier that's arrived. Let me tell you about subscription. You can subscribe to this channel. It helps me and it allows you to find out when I've posted something new on the site. You can also give me thanks in form of a little bit of money, maybe the price of a coffee. That's easy to do and that helps keep me going. Okay, I think I can hear him. Leee John's coming back from the front door.
I'm doing something for a charity, so they gave me this. I've got to do something for it. And the funny thing is, when my engineers was next door, and I thought, oh, he's gone down, but he didn't open the door. But yeah, where were we? Sorry.
Well, we were talking about your voice and how it's changed, but as you said that you were singing falsetto at the beginning, so no one really knew the depth and breadth of your voice, but today you can show it.
Yeah, I'm given the opportunity to do it, and I've been. It's for me, singing songs is like singing a different language. So I may sing, for example, in Intimate Glow. I'm laid back. I'm just very, very cool, and then I may push it out even more in Double Dilemma. You're hearing a completely different tone than what you'd known me for. And you're not always given that opportunity once you start crossing over into popular music, because people want to hear that quality. I mean, when I worked with the Gorillas, they wanted to hear, the high notes, the lost chord, they wanted to hear, which is nothing bad with that. But I always like to show show myself expressing differently, not just all in just a monotone state. Nothing bad with what I do, and I'll always have a bit of the falsetto. But I'm very much from when I was very, very young, I was very much into the jazz experience. That's why I said when I first heard Billie Holiday through the Lady Sings the Blues film, and then I bought Lady in Satin, the album by Billie Holiday, because I couldn't get the Diana Ross Lady Sings the Blues. Then I discovered Duke Ellington and Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, and because it was like dun, 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 dun. And then I was listening to funk and soul and stuff, and then this is all in America. And then when I came back here, I got so starved. And then I got the double album of Lady Sings the Blues, and then discovered the Supremes and Motown, because everybody was crazy of Motown in the UK at the time. And then I had to kind of go to import shops to get the funk from America and the soul and Parliament and all the different, groups of that period of time. And a touch of all of it I think is embedded in me, because, I'll hear the Shy Lights and I'm like, oh yes, so out of my mind, so out of my mind. Things, the beautiful songs. I mean, even the stylistics, they were not my influences, but like when I hear things like cause I'm stoned in love with you. I'm a little bit thing here, but still, it's just they're wonderful melodies, just wonderful melodies, which I think with the Intimate Glow album, that's one of the things I kind of want to sustain, because I'm listening to some of the music I'm hearing now, and to the world of me, I'm thinking, what am I hearing? Will I remember that tomorrow? And that for me is the thing. Will I remember it tomorrow?
Well, the fifth song you chose, I mean, we talked about Stevie Wonder earlier and the relevance. And if we talk about relevance, and of course, the Marvin Gaye song, Inner City Blues, again, it's over 50 years old, but again, it's relevant. So why did you choose that as one of your top 5?
Well, I was going to pick What's Going On, but I've had on my mobile, on my ringtone for years, What's Going On. For years, I've had What's Going On as my ringtone. And I just felt the whole album is a Bible. And Inner City is so, with what's going on now, it's just so relevant, what he wrote. I can identify, and I think if you're speaking to the youth today and they listen to that, they can understand it the same way and understand hip hop, rap, drill, whatever. Inner City Blues is telling you the same thing. It makes you want to holler, throw up your hands. It's like, because you don't know what's happening. The politicians, it's so relevant to today. And he had the foresight. It's just like, I remember reading about, and I think Berry Gordy said that he didn't want him to release it because that's not what he was all about. But he gave into it, and thank the Lord, the world has been given Marvin Gaye. And I got the privilege when I was with Imagination. We did Soul Train with Don Cornelius in California, and Marvin was aware of us and said to Don, "These guys are really kicking it up in the UK and in Europe." And Don Cornelius announced us on stage and said, "This is the group that Marvin Gaye gives his stamp of approval." If you go on YouTube, you see it. So
wow.
What better honor,
It's weird because I printed out the lyrics to this when I read that this was one of yours on the list, and it's rockets, moonshots, spend it on the have-nots, money we make it, for we see it, you take it. Oh, make me want to holler the way they do my life. Make me want to holler the way they do my life. This ain't living. This ain't living. No, no, baby. This ain't living. It's so relevant.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very, it's like, we're spending, where is it going? They're taking, and it examines, it's like going through the looking glass and actually thinking, hold on a second, was somebody spying on me before? It's just such wonderful insight. But as I said, as far as we've gone forward, there's a lot that we're going back. In some ways, I'm feeling maybe, and I think probably tracks like Take Me That, which has been #1 in the soul chart over here, and it's spreading. I'm finding more countries that are getting into Take Me Back. And so that means that people are kind of listening to the melody. For example, Garth Crooks, a friend of mine, footballer, I didn't talk to him ages. And he texted me and said, "Oh, I really love the new album." I thought, hold on a second, it only came out on Friday, and he knew all the tracks already. So that was really cool. And some of the other DJs, it's been album of the week on 3 different stations in the UK, which is just remarkable. And people are playing different tracks that they like. So I'm hoping we have this, consistency that people say, this is something that, when I want to chill out, I'm putting Intimate Glow on.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm really glad for your success. I know you're a complete workaholic, so if anyone deserves success in the world, it's you. I'm just going to read out these 5 tracks again. Girl, You Need a Change of Mind, Eddie Kendricks. Free, Deniece Williams. Vision, Stevie Wonder. Your Own, Take Me Back, Leee John and Bill Sharpe. And Inner City Blues, Marvin Gaye. If you had to choose a track to play right now to make you feel really good, which one of those 5 would it be? And before Leee gives you his #1 of 5 of the best, let me ask you again. Please subscribe. It helps me. It allows you to find out when I've posted something new on the channel. And if you want, you can give me some thanks in the form of a little bit of money, the price of a coffee or whatever. It will help me keep this podcast going. Also, if you like Leee John, there is a 1-hour career interview on him on this channel. So look out for that. Okay, back to the all-time #1 from Leee John.
Take Me Back. I'd have to, why? Because I sit back and I listen to one of our tracks or something like that, and it does make me feel good. And because I wrote this during the lockdown, I was saying to Bill, even some of those tracks on the album, the Intimate Glow album, I was thinking, what was in my mind at that time? Because it seems like the lockdown was like, how long ago? Because it's like it never happened. So I'm looking at Take Me Back, and I'm thinking, there's references to the 80s, some moments where, everything turned to gold. Everything was so good. And I meant the gold records that we got when I actually put it in the lyric in there. And I think this will be a classic record that I will feel uplifted when I hear it. Even we were out for Mother's Day, and we were in a place, and there was a DJ and he played it, and I was listening to it, and it just sounds familiar. And that's, you know, when something sounds familiar, and even if it's your own product, it gives you a good feeling, because everybody was like, they felt good. So it's a really good feel, you know. So yeah, I think Take Me Back is there to make you feel good.
Well, Leee John, congratulations on Intimate Glow and Take Me Back, of course. And thanks for joining me. It's been wonderful to see you again. I really hate you because you never look a day older.
It's all the swimming I do, believe me. I feel it, believe me. I feel it. And living in London makes you feel it.
Okay, congratulations. I'll see you again, Leee. Thanks very much.
Take care. Thanks a lot. Take care. God bless.
Bye. Up there is an interview I recommend. Down there is where you can find all the podcast interviews. And here is where you can connect.